We're at the point in a project that I love starting projects, and I'm really bad at continuing them and really, really bad at ending them. Fortunately, this is a project that has no definitive end. Hopefully will be, I mean, as long as I'm alive, I will be watching movies, and as long as I'm alive to watch movies, I'll be making these videos. So I guess if you stop seeing these videos, you should probably call somebody. I missed a month of doing these videos, and I am gonna catch up. I'm going to do it. But I am realizing that I have 36, I think, movies in these 2 months that I need to talk about having watched. Which means if I talk about them for a minute, I'm gonna have a 36-minute video, and that's not even counting all of this business that I'm doing ahead of time. Point being, some of these I am gonna blow past a little bit. So this is my what I watched, movies and shows that I watched in December of 2025 and January of 2026. I truly cannot stress enough how much I should not be talking to you right now and should just be getting into this. And yet, we're gonna start with Three Colors White, a movie I simply must talk about. This is the second in the Three Colors trilogy. The first was really detached and really sad and really beautiful, really very, very well made. This was hilarious and also a little detached, but significantly less, and very odd, just a strange kind of anti-romantic comedy in a way that I think is really, really fun. There's a specific scene where a guy is hired to kill another guy that I think could merit its own completely separate movie. I mean, it's just like some of the best performances, some of the best like writing and dramatic intrigue happening in a scene. And it's also, again, very, very funny. This is a sarcastic, weird movie. I have yet to see, spoilers I guess for the rest of this video. You don't care about spoilers? What am I saying? I have not watched the third in the Blue Colors trilogy as of yet. I really do want to. It's very much on my list. Julie Delpy, I think it's Julie Delpy. It's a brilliant performance. My favorite performance of hers will always be from the Before trilogy, but this is also a very, very good one. Really loved that movie. I could make a whole video on the Three Colors trilogy. I am going to be working on a video kind of around that, sort of, about why you should watch pretentious film, but there's going to be a lot involved in that. I then watched The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie, which it's a strange thing. I am a huge fan, clearly, of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't even know if that's in frame. That would be so funny if it's not. I am a huge fan of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the books. I've listened to the radio show. I had seen this movie. It was the first introduction that I had to the story, and I don't remember much of it, so I watched it again. And it's strange. I think as an adaptation of the book, it's kind of bad. But it's very silly, very fun, very weird sci-fi action comedy movie. This is a really, really fun movie that I think, generally speaking, gets the heart of what the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books and series have been without being a one-for-one adaptation, which I'm perfectly fine with. It's just, as an adaptation to what I think is maybe the smartest, funniest book ever written, I don't think it really holds water. I watched it once, like years and years ago as a kid, and I was like, this is weird as hell, and I don't know what to do with this. And then I watched it again after having read the books, and I remember kind of feeling like, why did we do this? Like, what was the whole point of this? And now watching it a little bit detached from the books, I really do feel like it's a shame we didn't get to see more of these. Like, it is a shame that we didn't get a follow-up, a Restaurant at the End of the Universe to this movie, because I think there could have been a lot of really fun things that we could do. And also, the fact that this movie didn't do very well is a huge shame, because I want there to be a brilliant adaptation of the movie. Like, of the book. I want there to be a phenomenal Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. As a side note, I really gotta move on with these. As a side note, I do think, like, a Spider-Verse style animation, the same thing they're doing with, like, Goat and the Ninja Turtles, something like that would be a really fun way to take that kind of a project. And I just don't know that it really needs to be live action. And I honestly don't know that it's benefited at all by the idea of a live-action adaptation. So my wife and I went to her hometown in California, and we stayed with her family for a while. So a couple of these I watched with them, showed them Superman over 2 nights. There was a break in between. And you know, I love this movie. I just like, I think they had a good time. I honestly don't know, but I loved it. I always love it. I think it's such a fun version of Superman. Also, in terms of movies that you're going to be kind of breaking out into 2 different pieces, Superman's not a bad way to go, because there's kind of these hard stop things where I think they were going to do like Day of the Week title cards. There are these kind of segmented pieces that make it feel more like a comic book, and also make it possible for your mother-in-law to get really sleepy and go to bed. After that, I watched Old Guard with my father-in-law, and it was a lot of fun. I had not seen it in a really long time. It took me until probably an hour and 10 into the movie to realize that I had not seen, or that I had seen it. And we got about half an hour away from the end and had to go do something. So I don't remember how Old Guard ends, but also it was not fun enough to find out. Like, I had a pretty good time, but I have no interest in checking it out again. I think there might be a second one. Boy, you know, keep them coming. I won't be there, but you can keep them coming. Then we went back home and watched Snowed in Christmas, a Hallmark or Lifetime or one of those original movies with, you know, God's Honest Santa Claus in it. And that was fun. That was a good time. That's all I have. Alone, I watched Train Dreams, which I will be making a video on. You can see that later. It's phenomenal and really pensive and very sad. Then I rewatched K-Pop Demon Hunters. Still has the juice. Still truly adore this movie. I went to the theater to see Silent Night, Deadly Night, the newest version of the film, of the series. And it was so much fun. It's a movie that I had pretty low expectations for, but Corey Cunningham, I think that's his name. That also could be his name in Halloween 3. Now I don't remember. Either Corey Cunningham or the guy who plays Corey Cunningham is really, really fun in Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's a schlocky, strange, almost Venom-like adaptation of the original movie, and I think it's very fun. I hope they do another one. It's one of those things that I have a hard time engaging with on a critical level, because it's like, are there issues with it? Yeah, it's a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie. Like, of course it's not phenomenal, but it is really fun, and it does everything that you want a Christmas slasher to do, which is kind of more important, I think, in the context of those types of films. We had a bunch of friends over and watched the most recent Hallmark original movie, Christmas Above the Clouds, and it is truly psychotic. It might be my favorite Hallmark movie of all time. I'm buffering thinking about all the things that there are to say about this movie. Most notably, it is hilarious to me that Timmy, Tiny Tim, is just he's getting taken out by asthma. And also, it's very funny to me that the Crows to Christmas Future is just this huge dude. He's just like a big, scary black guy, and he says no words. My favorite performance in the movie by far. He was just phenomenal. Whoever played the Ghost of Christmas Future in Christmas Above the Clouds, Oscar-worthy performance. I don't know if you're not a huge Hallmark fan, you kind of don't get what's going on here. This is a special one, and if you haven't seen a Hallmark movie, this might be the one to start with, because it is the closest to being like a movie, like an actual movie. This is the closest they've ever gotten to that. Then I rewatched Wake Up Dead Man. It's still wonderful. I have nothing new to say about this movie, except that it took us on this very strange journey of faith that has landed in a lot of places that I was not expecting, and not completely landed, but part of the journey has been involved in Wake Up Dead Man, and I think that's very, very fun. Sometime down the road, I might make a video about my faith journey and how that relates to movies and how that's gone, but I don't have the time, quite honestly, in this moment to make that video, and I haven't totally solidified what I would think the thesis of that kind of video would be, so there's no point in making it right now, but at some point, I might make that. If you're interested, let me know. I can kind of crack away on that a little more. I have a lot of ideas for videos that I want to make, and not a lot of time to make them. Hopefully, after the Oscars happen, I'll have a little more time to kind of crack into some ideas that I have. It's a pretty bad cup of coffee. Then I watched Until the End of the World, which is, I got it on the Criterion half-price Blu-ray sale, which is just a godsend. It's a 4-hour and 46-minute long movie, something like that. It's almost 5 hours. It's like 3 or 4 different movies kind of jam-packed into one, and I had a complete blast with this film. I think it is so much fun. It goes in so many places that you don't expect it to. It's also very quiet and pensive and really like dark in some ways, and very funny in some ways, and very thoughtful in some ways. It's one of those movies, and it kind of makes sense because it's a 5-hour movie, but it's one of those movies that you leave feeling like you've gone through a life journey, not just like a fun adventure, but like you have changed as a person, which feels like it's overselling, but film can do that. Art can do that, and I think it's really cool. And Until the End of the World is a bizarre, strange, just a weird movie, but it is so brilliantly fun and engaging, to the point that it was, again, almost 5 hours, and I just watched it in a night, and I felt like, yeah, that was a great time. Like, I didn't feel like I really had to put the work in to get through it. Darcy and I then watched White Christmas. I had never seen this film. She had seen it a long time ago. The classic, the Christmas classic, White Christmas. And guys, it's bad. Like, it's a bad movie. There's a couple of good bits. The way that I've been putting it as I defend myself on this hot take is that the first 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and the last 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, are a really, truly great short film. Everything in the middle, it just goes 10 minutes of great film, a bunch of dicking around, and 10 minutes of a great film again. And I just can't defend it. Like, there is the two bookending good parts of the movie are not nearly enough to make this movie worth watching. I fully understand that there are people who grew up with this, they're nostalgic about it, and they're theater kids, and there's a lot of people that maybe this movie is for, but for me, it just truly does not work. And I did not have a good time. We started wrapping presents halfway through to prepare for Christmas. Not because we had planned that, but because I was bored. Then I got to see my two best friends in the world, Lincoln and Preston, for Christmas. We watched Violent Night, the David Harbour Santa Claus movie, and it was a great time. We didn't make content about it, which is honestly shocking for us, and I'm kind of proud. It was just good to see my beautiful boys again. Then I watched The Night Before. I am relatively sure we watched it the night before Christmas, but I can't 100% guarantee that. Still a very funny movie. This is like my Christmas movie. In terms, there are two movies that I consider my Christmas movies: Krampus and The Night Before. There's just something so relentlessly funny about this movie. I've heard a lot of people describe it as a very mediocre movie, and I just don't see it. I just truly don't. Michael Shannon's performance, Michael Shannon's character is an all-timer in this movie. I love it. If you haven't seen The Night Before, it's fully February at this point when I'm recording it, so there is genuinely no reason to watch it. Wait until November-ish or the night before Christmas and watch The Night Before. It is a great time. Then I watched Nobody 2, the sequel to Nobody. I don't feel like that was important information. And it's really disappointing. I loved the first Nobody movie, and I thought Nobody 2 was just really meandering and kind of nonsense and had almost none of the fun and charm of the film. The idea of doing a like family vacation style sequel to Nobody is on paper brilliant, and it just doesn't work. It ends up playing more like a ripoff to a Reacher book, and it's a huge bummer because I really liked the first one a lot. If they made a third one, I would totally give it a shot, but it made me kind of wonder, did they get what works about this? Because it did not feel like they did. Then I watched Begonia. I will be making a video about that as well, but Yorgos Lanthimos is a freak, and he makes movies for freaks like me. Ringing in the new year, literally, like quite literally, into the new year, I watched the season finale of Stranger Things Season 5. And I have so many opinions on Stranger Things. I'm not gonna make a video on it because everyone else has made a video on it, and I don't disagree with a lot of the opinions out there. I think as a whole, the season was okay, the show is good. I think the finale barely squeaks by into being good. I think it lands on the positive for me, and it's really close, which is a shame because I think every season leading up to that, I have ended being like, this might be the greatest show ever made. Season 5 is not that. I think Season 4 is the best season of Stranger Things, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. There's a lot of opinions that I have about Stranger Things, and at this point, there's no point in talking about them. It has kind of soured for me since watching it. I think it's fine. The show overall is good and worth watching, and the finale of it, it's kind of like, look, man, if that, how else were you really gonna end it? What's funny is they painted themselves into a corner at the end of Season 4, and then they painted themselves into a completely different corner at the beginning of Season 5. I have truly so many thoughts on this, and there's just no point in talking about them, so I'm just gonna keep moving on to... Mom, don't watch this part. We watched The Man from Snowy River in Georgia. We went to Georgia for my grandmother's funeral, and we watched The Man from Snowy River, a movie that my family has said is phenomenal since the day I was born. And it is bad. It is a bad movie that is not good. There's one cool moment in the film where a guy goes down a big steep hill on a horse. The rest of the movie is poop from a butt. Like, it's shockingly bad for a movie that everyone was like, this is brilliant. This is so beautiful and extraordinary. It is none of those things. It is not a smart movie. It is not a fun movie. It is not a good performed movie. It does not look good. I was just like really thrown off by this film. Then we went back to Colorado and we watched Marty Supreme in a theater, and it was brilliant and so stressful. I will also be making a video on that because it was nominated for the Best Picture Oscar. After that, I showed my wife the movie Dread, and I told her this is a boy movie, see if you like it. She did not like it. It is a boy movie. It's gross and weird and very dark and very, very fun. Then I watched Honey Don't, a bad movie. Then, as a surprise party for my best friend's engagement, we are so excited for you, Lincoln, cannot wait, we rented out a theater and watched Pacific Rim. And that shit slaps so hard in a theater. Like, it is indescribable how hard this movie goes. It, like, locked in a thing for me, in my opinion of Guillermo del Toro, that he is a director who will just take whatever he's given, whatever thing he is working on, and just elevate it, no matter what. In my opinion, the worst of his movies, which is Crimson Peak, is only bad because of the script. It is not because of the art, the direction, the visuals, the performances. None of those, all of those are working in every conceivable way, and the script is just a little bit bad and a little bit overwritten. Guillermo del Toro really knows how to, like, take whatever he's doing and just bump it up 7 or 8 notches, and he really does that with Pacific Rim. The choreography, the action choreography in this film is always so stunning to me, and on a big screen, it's even more so. Then I watched Captain America, the First Avenger, as a kicking off to an MCU rewatch that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a series of retrospective videos on the MCU. Captain America, we're doing it in chronological order, so Captain America was our first go. Shocked how much I enjoyed it. It was so much more fun than I remembered. Then we watched Captain Marvel, also more fun and works better in this context than it did in when it came out. More on those thoughts as the video comes out, but that is my general opinion on those. Then I watched 28 years later, The Bone Temple, a movie that has just sat with me so right. It is such a brilliantly fun and dark and scary and disturbing piece of filmmaking. I have wanted Nia DaCosta to have a win as unqualified as this, and here we are. No qualifications, no caveats. This is a huge win for Nia DaCosta. It's brilliant. It might be better than 28 years later. It might be better than 28 days later. It is just an exceptionally creepy, disgusting, fun movie. Ralph Fiennes also. Ralph Fiennes, whichever Fiennes it is, gives the performance of a lifetime. Then I watched Iron Man, the original, because again, continuing that MCU rewatch, and also very fun. There's some things that worked a lot better for me and some things that worked a lot worse for me, but it's a lot of fun kind of re-entering this, as seeing it as an actual character piece, not just a fun vehicle for superhero movies. Also, as a side note, this is the 5th email from AMC Theaters I've gotten today. Okay, this is the 5th one. I love you guys and I appreciate you, and I did go see Send Help in an AMC theater, and I did sign up, by the way, for AMC A-List because they finally revamped the AMC near me so that it's not just a big pile of poopy from hell. I don't need 5 emails. I just don't. I got 3 separate emails thanking me for going to see Send Help. I appreciate that you appreciate me, but this is a little desperate, AMC. Then I watched No Other Choice, which astounds me that it wasn't nominated for a single thing at the Oscars. Intricate is the only word I can think of to describe it. It's this very interesting story. It's a kind of tragedy in a very fun way about a guy who like gets everything that he's ever wanted by doing all the things he never wanted to do. It's kind of a horror movie, kind of a thriller, kind of a comedy. I kind of don't want to tell you anything more about it because I don't get the sense that a lot of people are seeing this, and I think you absolutely should. After that, I watched Zombies, the Disney Channel original movie, and then Zombies 2, and then Zombies 2 again, and then Zombies 3, and then Zombies 4. There is a logical explanation for it, that being that I do have a podcast with my 2 best friends called the MPRPH, the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour, where we make each other watch bad movies, and my friend Lincoln made me watch Zombies 2, but I couldn't watch Zombies 2 without seeing Zombies 1, and then I saw that there were aliens in Zombies 3, so I watched that, and then I watched Zombies 4 because I'd seen 75% of the movies, and I watched Zombies 2 twice because I watched the second one late at night, so I had to rewatch it. I don't think that really helps my case, but I did watch all of them, one of them twice, so I've seen 5 of the 4 Zombies movies. I do have a lot of opinions on them, all of which you can hear in that episode. That episode is live right now, the Zombies 2 episode of MPRPH, the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour. I love making that show, and I wish more than 6 people listen to it, so be the 7th. Be the 7th you wish to see in the world. Then I rewatched The Hateful Eight because it was really, really snowy. We got a random snow day, and that's a very snowy movie. I have mixed feelings about the film. I had seen it before, and I remembered almost none of it. Watching it again, I kind of see why, because it's not that it's not memorable, but it's not the most exciting Quentin Tarantino film. I like that this is a slow, weird Western whodunit, I also kind of don't think it needed to be as slow or long as it was. So it's one of those, like, it's, as a project, it's a little long in the tooth for me, but I still really enjoyed it, and it's shot very well, and overall it's very engaging. It reaches a point where you're like, okay, this feels like we could have cut some of it. Then I watched Escape from New York, John Carpenter's classic, for also the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour. I have a lot of opinions on that as well. You can see them in that episode that'll go live very soon. We will be watching Escape from LA coming up here for the next episode, and John Carpenter is a brilliant filmmaker. That's all I'm going to say. Then we watched Wonder Man, the new Marvel show. I made a video about that. I love this show. I think it is not without its flaws, but I also adore it. What it is doing, I think it does really well, even if I think there's other things that it probably should be doing. After that, our first experience back at the AMC was Iron Lung, directed by Markiplier, I think. Was not familiar with Markiplier, was not familiar with the Iron Lung, the game, and I have mixed feelings about the movie. Overall, I think it came out really good, and I like a lot of what it did. It gets weird as hell, and I appreciate that quite a bit. There's a lot of kind of eldritch god creature underwater horror. He's stuck in a sea of blood. There's a lot of things to love about this movie. The middle section of the film really loses itself. It loses its footing in a lot of ways. It gains it back by the end of the movie, and then it starts to kind of lose itself in the editing toward the end of the film, so it's a very mixed bag. I liked it, but I don't know that I'll ever be really watching it again. That said, I do think a lot of the direction of the film is impressive, so I will probably watch whatever Markiplier does next. I think he's got a real name. I'm fairly sure he's got a real name. But I will be watching whatever he does next, and just to see what happens. I mean, it's one of those things that the next one could be really bad, and then I'll go, oh, okay, cool. Iron Lung was kind of an accident. Or the next one could really learn and improve from what he made here. I feel the same way about Chris Stuckman. His next movie could be brilliant, or it could be kind of bad, and I just don't know, but I'll be interested to see what happens. And finally, I watched Send Help at the Cinemark near me, and it was a great time. Sam Raimi is back. He has made just a very fun, very engaging film. It really lives and dies on the main performances of Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. I've rewatched it since. We'll get to that next month, but I have rewatched it since, and it just is such a truly hilarious movie. There are specific deliveries that I think are legitimately comedically brilliant, and there's a couple of turns that it takes that it just keeps you guessing and it keeps you engaged, but also there's character turns that it takes that make you wonder if these people can redeem themselves and if this can be a positive thing. And then, of course, surprise, surprise, it's a Sam Raimi movie. It kind of ends up not being a positive thing. I loved Send Help. It's just a banger way to start the year. So far, honestly, 2026 has been a hell of a year for film. Really quick, just because this is how I do end all of these videos, I want to give some life updates. I am doing well. My grandmother's funeral was really impactful and very sweet and very good, and I'm very happy that has closed some things. I have some closure that I didn't have before, and got some really good time with family. It's been a tough year so far. I've been really, really stressed about everything that's happening in the world, and especially in America right now. It's not good. I have to balance in myself this feeling of numbing from what's going on and of avoidance, while also needing to engage. And I balance those feelings, not great all the time, but I balance them in ways like this, where I get to kind of release some steam a little bit. And I don't ever want this to be a political channel. I refuse for that to happen. A, because I don't know enough for it to be a political channel, and B, I don't see the benefit of another dividing factor in the world. I just don't see the benefit of that. This is a bad time to be in America, and I think that's not like a hot take. I don't think that's a political statement literally at all. It's just there's a lot going on, and it's stressful and scary no matter which side of the aisle you land on. And so I don't say that to invoke any kind of debate on, honestly, like, you're more than welcome to comment whatever you feel politically. I won't probably engage with it, but I've been praying a lot, and I think that's been really helpful. And I've been kind of taking a lot of my fears and worries to God, and that's been the only true respite from what's happening, and no amount of movies can cause that peace. So other things about where I'm at. I am doing a Kickstarter coming up very soon. Very, very soon. I've been working on getting some really cool merch stuff for my comic, which if you don't know, I do a comic called Edge of Bordertown. It is 100% free to read on my website, johnbonart.com. It always will be. I am not trying to turn this into a plug. I've been working really hard on that Kickstarter, and hopefully that's going to launch mid this month, maybe next month. So I am pretty stoked about that. I'm rambling, so I'm going to get out of here. But what movies did you watch this month, and how are you doing, just generally? I hope you're doing well. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Here's to hopefully a more optimistic rest of the year.